Okay, good morning. I think we have the tech worked out now today. Always an issue. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, FinTechsters. Good morning, Nutrimonsters. If there's any of you left, welcome everyone who wants to lose weight, who wants to be healthy for the holiday season. Uh, let's get started. You'll notice it's me solo. Jackie is not here today. She is taking care of something, but I think I can do the job. There are several things I want to talk about today. Okay. First of all, most of you know we are in the middle of our holiday promotion. Why do we do this during the holidays? Well, for obvious reasons. Okay, I'm going to go over some stats that I've gone over before with people ad infinitum about the holidays. And really, the stats, I don't even have to because they just back up what everyone knows. Everyone knows the holidays are a time where people become gluttonous. It's what we love to do. It's a great tradition. If we didn't have a price to pay, it would be fantastic. But in this universe, there is a price to pay when we are gluttonous, when we are stuffing ourselves, eating poisonous stuff. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, by the way. I hate to be the Grinch here. I hope you had a wonderful time. I know I did, and the food was great. We did a fried turkey this year. Never had a fried turkey before. I know some people do it every year. People swear by it. It's faster. It's more moist. Of course, the peanut oil. I'm not sure if that's a great idea, but anyway, it was really really good. And I hope everyone who's listening now enjoyed their turkey. Uh, a lot of people are doing steak days today. For those of you who know how we do things, if you gain too much weight or if you plateau while you're on our one of our weight loss detox programs, then you are to do a steak day. A steak day is a wonderful corrective measure. It's a fantastic contingency. It is a real in emergency break glass moment, right? It's very good for you physiologically. Physiologically means like how the body's processes work. And the reason is because when you do a steak day, it kind of reminds your body of what it's like to be in fat burning mode. It's a modified fast, essentially. So you're not eating most of the day, but then you are having something. You are having a steak. You are having some good protein. So it's not a fast exactly. It's a modified fast. It's very anti-inflammatory. It's a great way to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, I'm serious now. Let's not forget everyone who's about to do a steak day. The key to the steak day is not only the steak day itself, it's the many days afterwards. Right? You want to be very careful to not regain that inflammation, to not go back on that route. So you want to eat very clean, avoid your starchy carbs, avoid sugars, avoid anything else that you know might be a trigger for you. Now, triggers are individual, not the cakes and cookies. Those aren't individual, but there are hidden triggers, and those are individual to people. Some people react terribly to nuts. Some people react terribly to dairies of certain kinds. So that's why one of the things we do on the program is we introduce those foods one at a time. We test them out. So if you're going to do a steak day, make sure that you nail it on the days after all. So remember, it's a line in the sand. It's not just an event. It's not designed to save you. It's a quick fix. It will help, but you want to back it up. Okay. Now, holiday promotion. So we do this to support you in what you're doing. A lot of the people will not start a program until after the holidays. These are our lowest prices of the year. You don't want to miss out on the holiday promotions, right? It's up to 50% off is what we're doing. And let me say this also. I meant to mention this. Black Friday is over. And I don't only mean over for 2023. I mean, Black Friday is not a big deal anymore. It doesn't have the same urgency. It doesn't have the same cachet. Black Friday was a big deal when people couldn't just, sit at their computers and press buttons. So Black Friday is not the thing. People aren't like fighting over Cabbage Patch Kids anymore. People are ordering from their home. So Black Friday stinks. It doesn't stink. It's just, but we have to put it in perspective, right? It had its time. This is the big week. Cyber Monday, starting off Cyber Week. If you are going to do a program, if you know you need to and want to do a program and you want to save money, that's the win-win, right? You get to lose a bunch of weight on one of our guaranteed programs, and you can save a bunch of money up to 50%. Now, when I say up to 50%, everyone's like, if you come in and if it's 25% off, then you're like, well, I heard 50%. That's all anyone hears, right? It really depends on the program. So we have programs of different length that involve different things. Some of our programs involve, daily texting. And so that's why we say up to 50%. We want to really cover ourselves. We want to be upfront and honest with you. All right. Now, when I have a staff meeting, the first thing we do always is we start out with wins, right? We start out with successes. Why do we do that? We've discussed this before. This is in my book. It's like the first chapter of the book. We have to we have to appreciate our wins. You cannot build a foundation for growth, for progress on the losses. You're stepping on air, right? The wins are solid things that we can use as a foundation to progress, right? You can't climb this mountain with your losses. And by losses, I mean your failures. So we always count the wins. All right. We start that way on our meetings, and you guys need to do this as well. And I'm going to give you some wins. I'm going to give you some hope. Without hope, people die. Hope might be our most valuable resource that there is, much more so than money. Maybe time might be a little more than hope. But if you have all the time in the world and no hope, what's the use? So I think hope is our most valuable resource. Andy Dufresne in The Shawshank Redemption famously said, no, it wasn't Andy. It was his friend, the Morgan Freeman character. Red, I think was his name. He said, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things. Or was it Andy? All right, it's early. But hope is necessary. So let me give you some hope by giving you some wins. First of all, we have a young lady who came in last week, and she was finishing up a program. I believe it was her second round. She's lost 40 some odd pounds, right? But it looks like more. Those of you who have done the program, you know that on our program, because the emphasis is on fat burning, because we're tracking your hydration and making sure that you're not losing hydration, as a percentage, you're gaining hydration, which is massively important. So the emphasis is on fat burning, and that results in greater inches. So she lost in the 40s. She looks like she lost over 60 pounds. And I hear from people all the time, especially females, they'll say something like, I weigh 160 pounds now, and I'm fitting into my size 6s. And in the past, I could not fit into size 6 until I got to 135. So I hear things like that all the time. Fat loss and weight loss are not exactly the same thing. They overlap, but they are not the same thing. You can lose weight by losing water. You can lose weight by losing muscle. You can lose weight, I always joke, by, losing an organ. Okay? So the emphasis is fat loss. And she looks like she lost, like I said, 60 pounds. It's remarkable. But the big win is this, is that she literally said to me, I love my life now. And that is one of the greatest things I have ever heard. Okay. My job is very gratifying because I hear wonderful things from people all the time. Don't get me wrong, I hear some not so wonderful things also. And I have to help people through their stuff. Weight is a very emotional deal, right? But I love my life now. To go from not loving life to loving life, that is a wonderful thing. That is what we all want. It's much easier to love your life when your energy is higher. It's much easier to love life when you're fitting into clothes that you couldn't fit into before. It's much easier when you aren't avoiding the mirror. It's much easier when you're hearing nice things from other people. I mean, these things make life easier and easier to love. So she said that, and then she left a Google review where she said the same thing. And like I said, it was just fantastic. So I did want to give that as a win. Again, count the wins, give them more emphasis. For some reason, our habit as human beings is to ignore the wins and put all our concentrations on the losses, on the failures. I think that's some kind of crazy survival mechanism, right? I mean, we focus on that intensively and obsessively very often to kind of guard ourselves from those things. But of course, we focus on that and then they're more likely to happen. So I want the emphasis to be on the wins, on the successes. If you can do that, you will be a long way towards winning that mental game that's so important when we're talking about weight. Okay. So I definitely wanted to mention that. Actually, I don't have that much more to mention. For those of you who are starting a program during the holidays, some people might tell you you're crazy. You might think that the idea itself is crazy. It is not. It is eminently logical and rational. The reason is, of course, it's so easy to get out of control on the holidays. We've talked about this before. People poo-poo the idea of momentum, right? Oh, and momentum, I don't know the physics definition exactly, but it's like force that builds up going in one direction. There's positive momentum, there's negative momentum. And it's very hard to change momentum. And we've all experienced this. We've all experienced periods when we're eating very well, when we are exercising, when we're feeling very good. And all we have to do is ride that wave of momentum. Conversely, we've all experienced periods where everything is a struggle. We feel crappy. We're gaining weight. We're out of control with eating. And it's very hard to stop and reverse that also. So for people who say, I am going to go crazy over the holidays, I'm not going to think about it, but then in the new year, I am going to get serious. It can be done. In fact, our program is one of the only ways that it can be done successfully. Right? Because honestly, we know what happens with New Year's resolution. But with our program, it's much, much easier. But still, without something really drastic, without something really savage, it can be hard to change momentum. Our program is savage. And I say that with all admiration and love and respect for it, right? It is a very good way to stop that negative momentum. So I feel like I'm giving kind of mixed messages here, like saying on the one hand, don't build up all that negative momentum, but saying on the other hand, our program can help reverse it. It's really you that reverses it, but with such a powerful vehicle, it's much, much easier. That's the thing about momentum. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a very powerful vehicle to stop first and then reverse momentum and start going in the opposite way, which in the case of what we're talking about is the right way, the way you want to go. Okay. So for those of you who decide to do that, I know there's no way I can convince you not to. I will not try, but I do challenge people. I do this, we'll have a conversation. I'll say, when are you planning to start? And I'll hear, January 2nd, when the new year comes around. And then I'll say, okay, can I give you a challenge? Can I challenge you to start before that? Why? Because I want you to go into the new year with momentum. If you go into the new year down 15 pounds, if you don't gain the 8 to 10 to 12 pounds that you would otherwise gain during the holiday season, it's just a much better way, I think, to start the year. And that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to come from this blank slate. We all want great 2024s. So my position is that if you want a great 2024, you don't wait until 2024. You start now. And I understand that, not everyone's going to do that. But honestly, more people, I think, are getting that message than ever. Because they've done that cycle, the cycle of holiday gluttony, and then like trying to pull it all together for the new year. And they've done it with various levels of success or not success. But they don't want to do it anymore. They like how they feel. They like how this one client of mine expressed how she feels, loving her life. So that's why people are doing the program during the holidays. That's why I encourage it. I can't enforce it in any way, obviously, but think about it. That's the challenge. The challenge is to think about what's possible. Some people, by the way, it's just not very probable. And by the way, everyone's circumstances are different. I have people who just, want to lose 8 pounds, right? Because they really like how they feel when they're a little less, but basically they're lean and healthy people. That's not the same level of urgency as someone who, needs to lose 75 pounds is on 3 medications. So it is a very individualized thing. All right. Now, having said all that, let me just say this. I hope you had a terrific Thanksgiving. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season. Remember, the holidays generally bring out the best in people. They show us what's possible. There tends to be more cooperation. There tends to be more kind words. There also tends to be more stress, which is interesting as well, as people feel like they have to get everything in at the last minute. Often financial pressures, all of that. We can discuss that in the future. But for today, let me just say, happy holiday season. We're going to be having a party very soon. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning. You will be made aware of that. And it should be a lot of fun. I want everyone to come for that. I think we're just going to have one, but let's see. If we get a lot of people who tell us that they want to come, maybe we'll have 2. Maybe we'll have 1 in each location. I don't know. For now, we're having 1, and it's going to be a good time. Good people. What's the word I'm looking for? Fellowship. There's going to be fellowship. So thanks again. Have a great week, everybody. And if you're interested in taking advantage of our Cyber Monday, Cyber Week sales, call in right away. There's certain things that we're doing that are kind of limited time. People are procrastinating now more than ever. I don't know why. But do it right away. If you know somebody who needs to lose weight, we actually are going to be offering an intro program for people like that, that is a very nice gift. I've had a couple of people purchase those as gifts. It's a tough, it can be a tough gift to get, right? Like, what's the message if you hand somebody a weight loss program or a gift card for it, right? But as we know, there are people who have events coming up, who they tell us they want to lose weight. There are people who just sit around and talk about the size of their behinds and how they want it to be different. You could support someone like that. So anyway, give us a call. Take care.